All right, man. So we back, y'all. I missed out on this week for the card Mayra Bueno Silva versus Holly Holm, but we're gonna jump straight into the results because this was a crazy night, bro. We had all types of stuff going on, and we're gonna get straight into it. I know you guys read the title, so I know y'all want me to get straight into it. So first things first, guys. First fight. We start off with the OnlyFans star going crazy. We had OnlyFans versus OnlyFans. We had Ashley Evans Smith versus Aileen Perez, and the fight went exactly as I expected it to go, but Aileen Perez truly dominated that fight. Like 10 out of 15 on takedowns, a bunch of control time, looked composed on the feet, looked very patient. And as for Ashley Evans Smith, I knew she was gonna lose. She hadn't fought in years, and she's just been sitting there doing OnlyFans. And I'm just gonna say it, man. If you're a fighter and you're a woman and you start doing OnlyFans and you're just making money just by simply taking pictures of yourself and posting provocative pictures, it's like, how can you still be an elite fighter? I mean, it's happened to mostly all the girls I can think of. Kay Hansen, Juliana Miller, Jessica Andrade. And guys, don't ask me how I know that these girls have OnlyFans. I was sent a list by a supporter, so I'm not the one that...
Boy, if you don't...
Man, I'm not the one that knows about any of that stuff, so we're just gonna move on to the next fight. Aileen Perez dominated. I think she's gonna be a bit of a player there at bantamweight in the near future. Very dominant wrestler. Next fight, we had Alexander Munoz versus Carl Deaton, and this fight was kind of frustrating. I did pick Alex Munoz to win. He just pretty much landed the better power shots, and when he was able to get into a wrestling exchange, he did make the, he was able to control it there. I think he got about 3 takedowns, so that pretty much won him the fight, but Carl Deaton was pretty much in the fight the entire time. He pretty much outlanded him. It's just that the power difference was the biggest issue for him. So that fight wasn't nothing too crazy. Next up, we had Azat Maxim versus Tyson Nam, and I actually thought that Tyson Nam won the fight. I picked Azat to win. The judges gave it to Azat, but I thought that Tyson Nam did enough to win. I thought he landed a bunch of leg kicks, outstruck him basically. And I don't think that Azat did anything significant to really win that fight. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the next, but the flyweights, it's almost turning into like women's MMA. Like you really don't know what's gonna happen with the flyweights. Like it's always like pick'em fights and randoms are winning and just weird things are happening. So it is what it is with that fight. Next up was Evan Elder versus Genaro Valdez. Evan Elder did edge out the fight, but Genaro Valdez was able to hurt Elder a few times. But Elder's just power difference kind of made up for that fight. It was a pretty decent fight, but Evan Elder got the W unanimously, so there was nothing crazy about this one. I also did pick Evan Elder to win that fight. So we started off about like 4-0, pretty good. I didn't make the pick video, but I'll be honest with you guys about what picks we had for the card. Next up was we're just calling him Milk Costa versus Austin Lingo. This is where I got my first pick wrong. I picked Austin Lingo. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do too much research, so that I'll take the L right there. But from what I've seen, Austin Lingo is just not a good UFC fighter. Like you can just tell when some of these guys get into the UFC and they're just like, there's a time clock on how much longer they're actually gonna be there. Like the guy just is terrible. It's like as soon as he gets hit, it's like his energy bar just gets drained to like 20, and then he's pretty much just sitting there taking damage and walking forward, looking like a zombie. It was a horrible performance by Austin Lingo, and really great performance by Milk Costa. He proved that he is going to be, a play in that division, 145 division, in the future. Maybe not right now, but in the future. Ground game is still a little bit, he could be exposed there if he's going against a good enough wrestler. Or it might have just been the fact that he took the fight versus Thiago Moises on short notice that really exposed him like that. But we'll see what happens in the future with him. Next up, we had Victoria Dudakova versus Estela Nunes. And this is where that nasty arm break happened. Dudakova really just shot a deep single on Estela Nunes, and she went to go post on her hand, and her, oh god, man. Like if you want to be a fighter, man, like sometimes I think I always say I want to train, and but I'm just like, man, like the injuries that happen in this sport is no joke. So prayers for Estela Nunes. Wish the best for Dudakova going forward. Her wrestling is definitely serious because she forces serious wrestling. She was going to continue to force the wrestling exchanges, and she was in on a deep single, and usually you don't see people get that deep on a single. It felt like Estela Nunes was going to get away, but Dudakova held on to just up into the ankle. Estela posted nasty arm break, so prayers for Estela Nunes, and best of luck to Dudakova going forward. Next up, we had Melsik Baghdad Saran.
What the hell was that?
versus Tucker Lutz. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I didn't watch that fight too much. I kind of was listening more so to the audio, but from what I saw in the beginning, Melsick was having some good striking exchanges, but the wrestling appeared to be a bit of a problem for him. It seemed like Tucker Lutz was able to get a few clinches and a few wrestling exchanges going, not takedowns, but kind of clinching on the cage, kind of trying to lay on him a bit. But he just didn't do enough in the fight, so Melsick ended up getting the win, better striking, and Lutz really didn't do anything with, you know, with the grappling exchanges. And Lutz is not a good fighter. Like, I've looked at some of his fights. Like, this is like the second time that I didn't pick him to win this fight, honestly, but like, I kind of thought that, you know, he was live. So to see him just lose like that, it's kind of just like, bro, it's like 0-3. Like, another guy, the time clock for him is ticking on how long he's gonna be in the UFC. Next up, we got Nazim Sadikov versus Terrence McKinney. And yeah, Terrence McKinney, the best thing that ever happened to him was a short notice fight versus Matt Frevola, because that kind of kick-started him and made him, you know, seem as if he's like gonna be a big star or like a big play in the lightweight division at some point. But very dangerous fighter, just out of control. And now that he's getting deeper and deeper into the UFC, anybody that has any bit of technicality in the striking department and even the grappling department will beat him. He's pretty much scared to get hit now. He couldn't really do much of anything with the grappling. I mean, he was able to get the back control in the first round, but then in the second round, he continued to try to force grappling exchanges, got his arm stuck, and just ended up getting choked out. So he only has like 2 wins. Like, he has a win over like Matt Frevola, which was a short notice. And then he has a win over another guy that I forget his name, but not really that great in the UFC. So he really doesn't have any big wins. Obviously the Matt Frevola win is aging well for him, but that was on short notice. And Nazim Sadikov was on the same team as Matt Frevola. I think Matt Frevola was even in the corner, so they got their payback. So it is what it is. But next up, we had Chelsea Chandler versus Norma Dumont. There was some beef in that weigh-ins afterwards with this fight. I had Norma Dumont winning this fight, and it was just pretty obvious that's what was going to happen. Chelsea Chandler still very green, only 5-1 at the time. She's now 5-2, but she got cracked so bad in the fight that she literally turned around and like ran the hell away. Like, oh shit! Oh. She literally ran away. Like, that's how bad she got cracked that she literally ran away. So it was actually funny to see her do that. But yeah, the striking was just not in her favor. Her grappling is still green. She's like a purple belt, but you can tell she doesn't even really know what she's doing on the ground that much. So that fight was easy to call. Norma Dumont dominated the fight pretty much, and that was that. Next up, we had Jun Young Park versus Albert Duraev. I didn't study this fight too much. I picked Duraev, got the pick wrong. Jun Young Kim is wait, did I say his name right? I said Jun Young Kim. Jun Young Park, the Iron Turtle. Like, this guy, he has good steady forward pressure, good jab to follow up with his strikes. Obviously he's showing that he's dangerous on the ground now. I don't know if that he's been working extremely on his BJJ, but his BJJ is crazy now. He keeps getting chokes, and Duraev is pretty good on the ground. So to choke him out, it shows that Park is going to be a serious play at 185. He needs a ranked opponent. He tried to say in his, his post-fight interview that, oh, I'm a company man, I fight whoever. No, don't be stupid. I hate when fighters do dumb stuff like that. It's like, bro, you're on a long win streak. You're on like a 4-fight win streak. You need to call for a ranked opponent. You don't just take an next fight like an idiot. So he needs to definitely work on that. They need to make sure they get in the right fight. But that's how much, that's how the fight pretty much went. Park's constant pressure with the jab. And yeah, that was pretty much it, to be honest. That's how the fight went. But next up, we had Francisco Prado versus Atman Azaitar. And I think that the MMA guys is just out for Atman Azaitar, because ever since he got caught, like 3 years ago, I want to say, Fight Island, transferring some supposedly potatoes in a bag, some random items in a bag. He kind of like climbed from one hotel balcony to the next to deliver some random items, suspicious items that we don't know what it was. He was supposedly kicked out the UFC, given a second chance, came back, got steamrolled by the steamroller Matt Frevola, and then got absolutely destroyed by the young Francisco Prado, 21-year-old. So yeah, back-to-back losses for Atman. His chin appears to be gone, and those years that he missed, since that suspension or him being kicked out of the UFC, whatever it was, it ended up being career ruining, because the guy it seems like he can't take a punch anymore. So yeah, That was crazy. But Francisco Prado is going to be someone that we're going to be looking into a whole lot. So we'll see what happens with him next. Next up, we head on to the co-main event with Jack Della Maddalena versus Basil Hafiz, the Habibi. And this fight, I had money on Jack Della Maddalena, so I was really frustrated with this fight. But put it like this, right? Jack Della Maddalena, what he showed tonight is that he has low fight IQ. And why I say that is because he kept jumping for the guillotine choke. Now, I know some people might disagree with that, and I get it. You guys are gonna say, oh, he had back-to-back weight, he had the weight cuts and so on and so forth, and he had 2 canceled fights. I get that, but it's like, it's not that hard to see, right? After the first 2 to 3 wrestling exchanges, Jack Della Maddalena should have realized that him jumping for guillotines was just not going to work. I feel like he wanted to keep that first round finish streak going because of the fact he's fighting an unranked guy, UFC debut, short notice. I feel like he felt the need that he needed to steamroll him, because I mean, he's steamrolling Randy Brown, right? Randy Brown is UFC proven, but that's just not how it works in the UFC. You gotta just be smart in that fight and rely on fight IQ at all times, because when Jack when Jack wanted to keep the fight on the feet, he was obviously the better striker. Obviously, Hafiz had a few good entries with the takedowns. He definitely proved he belongs in the UFC. But Jack should have been focusing on keeping the fight standing, and he had a multiple instances where he kept doing that and just got himself in worse of trouble. Even when he had Hafiz really hurt, he could have tried to focus on keeping the fight on the feet, but he tried to like take the back and land ground and pound, and it's like at that point you shouldn't even try to entertain the grappling exchanges, because clearly the guy is very powerful and good on the ground. So that ended up getting him reversed in a position that he should have never even been in. So fight was close, way too close for comfort. Jack ends up winning split decision. And yeah, that to me, I feel like he's definitely gonna lose very soon with that kind of fight IQ. I'm not saying that he should have steamrolled him, but I'm just saying to keep jumping guillotine chokes after such a close fight, your corner being super, like, bravo to his corner, because they did the right thing. A lot of times you see a lot of these corners, they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're giving their fighter terrible, terrible instructions, terrible advice, but his corner was on point. They knew the fight was way too close. They kept telling him stop jumping for the choke. They kept asking him, do you want to win this fight? They made it adamantly clear. So his corner can save him, but it's going to be up to Jack. He could be really, really good, but it's going to be up to him to make sure that he keeps his fight IQ good, because all those times he jumped guillotine choke was very, very stupid. So let's see what happens with him going in the future. Basil Hafiz is definitely going to get, I feel like the UFC is going to give him like a 4-fight contract, something like that. Give him a chance to prove himself, with full training camps, and he should be all right, pretty decent. On to the main event, another low fight IQ person here. We're just going to get into it. We had Holly Holm versus Mayra Bueno Silva, and it's so funny, right? Because Holly Holm just, she ended up making like an adjustment to her career where she started to like clinch a lot, grapple a lot, go for takedowns. It put her in bad positions versus Ketlin Vieira, and she just continues to do the same BS. Like, she fought against, I'm forgetting her name, Yana Santos. She was able to get that game going, but tonight she fought against Bueno Silva, and Bueno Silva is not Yana Santos, and she's not Ketlin Vieira. Yeah, Holly Holm just kept trying to go for a takedown, and I'm just like, how stupid can you be? Oh, shit. You're Holly Holm. You're the better kickboxer. You're the better boxer. Stay at range like a normal human being with common sense and win this fight. This was Holly Holm's fight to lose, and she did exactly just that. She kept trying to go for a double leg on, against Cage, and Bueno Silva locked in a insane standing choke and just ended the fight. It's just that simple. You can't be that stupid and retarded. That's what I noticed about some of these fighters, man. They're very, very stupid nowadays. It's like, yo, you're telling me you're Holly Holm, you've been in the sport this long, you're going against a dangerous BJJ girl, and you're going to force grappling exchanges? Anything grappling would be stupid. Stay at range, kickbox, fight like that, and you'll be just okay. But no, leave it to Holly Holm to be an idiot and get herself choked out. So that's how the card played out, guys. Very, very, very interesting card. All favorites won except for the main event. Holly Holm, she had to, that's why some people think that sometimes these you know, the betting scene and stuff like that is rigged. Because what Holly Holm did was just like, how can you be that stupid? Like, who in your corner was saying that it's gonna be a good idea to force wrestling exchanges, to force the clinch? Just because you added that to your game now doesn't mean you need to keep doing it and spamming it, even, you know, regardless of who the opponent is. Very, very stupid. So yeah, you know, good card for the most part. It seemed like it was gonna be a bit boring, but it wasn't that bad of a card, to be honest. I'll be truthful though. Not a lot of finishes, if I'm being real. Not a lot of finishes. We had decisions. We had a few finishes, so it wasn't that bad. But the card was better than I expected it to be. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the video. Guys, do me a favor. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. We're close to 500 subscribers. We need that. We gotta get that. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all boys in the next video, man. Peace.